So look, the mask thing, the face diaper thing was theater really from the get go. I know that there's a lot of people who hate that I say that, and I want you to understand that two things can be true. Multiple things can be true in this regards. You can absolutely think that they are effective. Now, we haven't got any legitimate tests with random control trials that have proven how effective the masks are. It's more so that they're inconclusive in the fact that whether they do actually aid in and or relevant, let's say that, in stopping some sort of viral spread. Now, again, there had been studies done before, and there have been a few recently. One recently that I speak to always is a Danish study, in that it did not. I think people get it misunderstood because they think that I am saying that it doesn't, or I'm saying a study does not, when I'm not claiming that. What I'm claiming is that it's inconclusive. So me saying that you have been unable to prove that it does not mean that you're proving that it does not, right? It's that there's no evidence yet done by the experts that you told me to listen to that shows, by way of any random control trials that pertains to, like the Modelo virus 19, that it's that effective. Now, I don't think the world leaders have been completely oblivious to this idea, but I will say this. They have participated in this, and I do think there's some truth to the fact that a lot of it's giving you guys some sort of security blanket, right? Definitely when they freaked you out, they scared you to death. They wanted you to feel like you could do something about it, right? Now, of course, they wouldn't exercise, take some vitamin D or zinc or anything like that, taking care of your body. That was never on the table. It was stay in a bubble, don't move, and if you do have to go out, make sure you cover your face. And a lot of these world leaders got in on this narrative. And this is how they act still. This is this G7 meeting real quick, or whatever it was. And I want you to see some world leaders and how they react right here. Cameras are on, taking their pictures.
Okay.
And then they take them off. That in itself, this instance right now, matter of fact, let's just let it keep playing, right? This instance in itself is them, they telling you this is theater, bro. It's theater. It's theater, man. This is just some shit that they do for optics. And even when we see this, we see Biden this nuthead will be in a conference. Supposedly the vaccinations were supposed to rid people of all of this. And you're in some freaking conference on a Zoom call with your mask on. It's theater. This is not rooted in science. And even Fauci's of the world. Well, I didn't want to send. I know I'm vaccinated up and all of this. I just didn't want to send mixed signals. Apparently, the virus, or the mask rather, they're only effective when the camera's on. And then they take them off and they don't worry about them. We've seen, and then early on in the pandemic, the governors, Newsoms of the world, and how they would go around and eat out and dine with other rich folk, mask off, not socially distancing. Should have told you some when you saw numerous people traveling. What was it, Burks? Wasn't she traveling or something like that? We know that many governors have done this, and you think that because you see it with a diaper on their face publicly, that, well, maybe it's not as dangerous as what they were saying. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's what I had been saying from the get-go, that was theater. It was something that they were doing. Maybe it served as a security blanket. Again, two things can be true. But for the most part, it was just We just want to act like we give a crap. But when we go off and do everything else that we do, and this is why I encourage you guys to talk with your own doctor, because you'd be surprised what their positions are. Like mine, for example, couldn't be anything further from what a lot of these weirdos had been saying about masks. I remember when the first time I went to during the pandemic, I went to my doctor. And, of course, I think there was a bunch of regulations and stuff that had got passed by that idiot Governor Abbott and all sorts of stuff. I don't know if one was pertaining to, yes, there was a mask mandate around. And I go in there, and obviously none of the nurses had their mask on. And I was the only patient. I think it was the first patient of the day. And she looks at me, and she says, "Do you care about this?" One of the nurses up front, I said, "No." As soon as I said that, they all took them off. Because they weren't doing it because it was rooted in any science. Nurse practitioner, she comes to me, is like, "I don't give a fuck about it. Any of this is stupid." She was more so worried about the fact she had a lot of older patients that weren't showing up because coming to get their checkups and all that sort of stuff, because they were obviously scared of the virus and freaking out, and maybe rightfully so for that particular age demographic and whatnot. But obviously that was a worry of her. But didn't seem like it was rooted in any. Well, let's see this. How they analyze, and this is what science has been, you're obviously going to get differing opinions. To act like it was unanimous on the mask thing is just nonsense. But a lot of government doctors perpetuated it, a lot of world leaders perpetuated it, and we've seen time and time again that this has been totally about theater. We've seen it within our own government in America, and as well as governments abroad. It's theater. It's just something that they do as a signal. Otherwise, why are you wearing it during a freaking Zoom call? Why are you wearing it for pictures? How many times did you see, maybe at the White House, press meetings or whatever, and you see the videos that would be taken that were outside of once it was closed, everybody's taking off their masks because this is how they operate. It was theater all along. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.